Three, two, one. Broadcasting tape delayed from a meat packing house in Green Bay. The Sports Economy Show is on. I'm Billy. This is Ryan. And we are here to pump you up. That's funny, isn't it, Ryan? Today's show is
Pump
about
you up.
NFL. Say what? Say it again.
Oh, you said pump you up.
Pump you up. That's from Saturday Night Live in the 80s with Hans and Franz. Anyway, so today's show is about NFL rookie contracts. And I'm just going to read an article that I found from AI on the internet, so you know it's got to be true, correct? Correct. NFL rookie contracts are standard 4-year agreements with first-round picks having a 5th-year option. These contracts are structured using a rookie wage scale, which dictates the minimum and maximum salaries based on the player's draft pick position. Total value of a rookie contract includes the signing bonus, base salary, and potential performance incentives. So that's a pretty big deal, wouldn't you say? So,
Absolutely. That's everything they work for their whole entire life is to get to that
yeah,
moment.
that's right. We've been working on this since high school. So before that, they've been working a long time to get these rookie contracts. And everybody wants to be the number one pick. Is that right? That's right. They want to be
That's
the
right.
number one pick. Now, I have a list on this piece of paper here that's just a bunch of numbers. So the first pick, do you know who the first pick during this draft was? Because we'll be putting this video up tomorrow. I'll be putting this up tomorrow. So tonight's the draft pick that we're talking about. You know who the first pick was?
Cam Ward.
Right. He played for Miami. He's the guy that played the first half of the bowl game so he could break a record, then he set out. Because remember, NIL, the people that pay the NIL money, cares about them, right?
Oh, let's not get back in NIL again.
I'm not talking about that. There will be plenty more times to talk about that. Anyway, so Cam Ward's first year is a guaranteed $7.8 million. And since he has a 4-year deal, in year 2, it's 9.775. In year 3 is $11.7 million. And then year 4 is $13.685 million plus incentives. So his total, assuming he plays 4 years without getting hurt, whatever, he's going to make $43 million in his rookie contract. Now, they say, which is other than you're the number one pick, is you really make the money in your second contract, right? So the later round draft picks who get paid a lot less, your 4th round draft pick, what are they making league minimum? What's league minimum? Do you know?
800. They went up to 840,000 this year. That was they
Okay.
could 750 last year or
Yeah.
seven something, somewhere around
Yeah.
there.
Okay. Because the NFL and the owners increased the salary cap for each team. It's a general thing. I think by $25 million or so. So anyway, so rookies get a much better contract, the league minimum. But it's hard, because in baseball, you have a 6-year contract and you don't make very much money generally. But in the NFL, you make pretty good money right up front if you're a high draft pick, you know. Like the number 15 pick, their 4-year contract is $18 million. That's a pretty good deal, you know. But then again, how many people are going to be in the top 15 draft picks in the NFL each year? So it's tough. And then, everybody wants to be the number one pick, right? But you're going to a losing team. So what would you rather do? Would you rather be a top 5 pick and you're going to a guaranteed loser? Or would you be the lower 5 pick knowing you're going to a team that's going to win? A playoff team from last year.
Well, you obviously want the money, which most people want the money.
Most
But
people
then,
want the money.
but You know, if you're going to the Carolina Panthers, chances are you're never going to be on a winning team. So you're going to be a miserable millionaire.
A miserable.
Basically,
Yeah, that's right.
you're going to
You're
beat
gonna be
up
a
all the
miserable.
time.
Yeah, that's
But
not good.
if you go later, you know, you got less money, but you're going to a better team.
Yeah,
They're going to make you look a little better. You
yeah,
know, everything will go smooth, and then you can move right on to that second contract we were talking about and make your money there. So either
yeah,
way, you know,
yeah. Because the top guys are getting in the 40s of millions of dollars for their first contract. If you're further down, you're making at least $20 million less, maybe 25 million less. But still, you're 22 years old. Don't you think 5 million bucks is enough for your till you're 29? Can you make it on? Can you make it on 25 million bucks until you're 29 years old and you make more money?
you can't make it on that money. Then you need to do your budget restructured.
It's tough, man. You need to restructure your budget. I'll say that. My goodness, that's a lot of money. So,
That's
I
some
mean,
large living right there.
yeah, it didn't used to be like that, but now, I mean, and then so who Jacksonville Jaguars got the second pick, and the guy they picked wants to play offense and defense. I mean, that's a great idea, but you, as an owner, would you let the number two pick that you're paying $7 million to in his first year and 11 million in his third year? Are you going to let him play offense and defense? Or are you going to make him pick? Or you're going to pick for him what he's going to play? What do you think? What would you
I'm
do?
Jaguars. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win. They don't do
Yeah,
that very often, so I'll let him play both.
you gonna let him play both?
Yeah.
But the odds of him getting
At
hurt
least
playing
test the
both,
waters, you know? At least test the waters and see what he can do out there. You know, and if he may decide he only wants to do one, but he's in tip top shape, so you got to have some extreme conditioning to be able to do that.
the
So
NFL is extremely different than college. The difficulty level in the NFL, I would say, is at least 10 times what it is in college. Wouldn't you say? Because you're playing with full grown men as opposed to 18, 19-year olds.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just think about, you know, if you're playing, you know, you're Ohio State playing Michigan, and Michigan's got two guys on their offensive line getting drafted.
Yeah.
It Just think about at the NFL, you're playing all guys of that caliber. That was their top picks, all of them.
Yes. All
So
of them.
it's like an all-star team, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're all, and just say on every one of them are at least 10 years older than you.
Yeah,
And the amount of muscle that they have is so. Anyway, the point is, if I were the owner of that team, I don't think I would let this guy play both. I would just say, look, this is what you're going to play. I would assume that they discussed this with him before they signed him, before they drafted him. Wouldn't
yeah,
you think? See, because my opinion is the owners of NFL teams are just a tad bit smarter than the people who run the collectives for college.
yeah.
Just a guess of mine that they're a tad bit smarter than the guys who do that. So anyway,
Yeah, I don't know
but
if the Jaguars owner would, by the look of him, he doesn't look like he knows much about football. So I'd say it's all on the management
yeah, well,
and the coaching.
there's a lot of football of team owners that don't seem to know much. Just looking at them, like you can make all the money in the world doing something, but just because you do that doesn't mean you have any idea how to scout talent. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He
Yeah.
rode his yacht down to New Orleans Super Bowl.
from Jacksonville.
Yeah,
That's a pretty
I
good.
would, I guess,
That,
wherever.
that's a pretty good trip on a boat. You know it.
Yeah,
Go, going
he
all the
must
way.
have left like a week.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure it would take
Yeah,
you probably a week. Yeah. So it could be a rough ride too if you run into a storm. But hey, he owns an NFL team. Can't too many people say much about that. Anyway, I was doing a show the other day about professional sports tanking, right? And this guy wrote an article about how the Oklahoma City Thunder have a was it? I don't know if it said protected or perfected or come up with a new way of tanking, right? There's all kinds of teams that tank all the time, but if they don't have the proper leadership, it's getting you nowhere. Dallas, look at Dallas. They could have free agents and everything else, but they just can't figure out how to win. There's a lot of teams like that. So anyway, so me personally, I think I would rather be drafted down in the 20s and just deal with whatever money I got so I wouldn't have to go out there and have to produce all this stuff because I was this, super high draft pick and everybody's expecting everything in the world from me. And you're on a winning team. That helps a lot. So anyway, the 32nd pick are the Eagles or the Chiefs the 32nd pick, or did somebody trade for that? Anyway, their first pick is going to make, was it $2.4 million. So you're dropping that far, you make a whole lot less because they already have a great team around them. You know. So you think you could hang with $2 million? Did I lose you? Yep, I'm talking to myself. Yep, there he went. See ya. All right. Well, talk to myself then. Anyway, it looks like he's coming back. So maybe. Anyway,
Mm.
oh, you're back. So anyway, what I was talking about is whoever the last draft pick is. Do you know if it's Kansas City or Philadelphia, or if the pick's been traded? Who knows what it is? Anyway, your first year salary is going to be $2.4 million, but you're on a team that wins. Wouldn't that be a great idea to be on
Yeah,
that team?
absolutely. You're getting some of the best coaching,
Yeah,
training, and then
yeah.
you're learning. Obviously, got some good players around you too
Oh
to
yeah, yeah,
come and to push you every day. So you're going to get better. When you get to that next contract, you're going to get more money.
yeah. Plus, they're not throwing you out there,
Yeah,
and you
you're
have to where you have to produce every game, or it's a disaster, and the fans hate you, and all kinds of other stuff. Whereas if you sign your first year contract, you may sit the bench for a while trying to figure out what's going on. These quarterbacks, they get drafted, first or second, and they're like expected to start on the third game. Like it don't work out for some of them. So I mean, say you take 15 sacks every game for the first week or the first 4 games, that's rough. You look up and here they come. They're going to sack you again. So
like
it's
Bryce
rough.
Young,
Say it again.
like Bryce Young did last year.
Yeah, yeah. He got a little bit better toward the end of the season,
Yeah, he
but
did.
he was the number one pick last year, wasn't he?
I I believe so.
I think he was. So
Mm.
anyway, so he earned his money. Taking all those sacks, it's hard living that way. So well, anyway, that's about all I got for salaries for the draft. You can go on the internet You can find all this stuff. You can do all the research in the world. And what my favorite thing about the NFL draft is the favorite thing is these guys who are on TV talking about all these players. They know everything about every single player and how great they're going to be and how they fit this system perfectly. You ever paid attention to that?
Yeah,
And like,
they got to
how do they
sound
know
good.
this? Do what?
They got to make it sound good, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah, I understand. You can't say this guy's going into a horrible situation. He was a
Yeah,
good player in college, but this is not good. They never say that at all. They just talk about how great this guy is, and he's going to be an all-star in the NFL, make it to the Pro Bowl and all that stuff. So, bet you can go back to the 2014 draft, 2015 drafts, and you're like, how many guys, how many of these great players ever panned out? You know. So anyway, well, that's all I got for the show. You got anything else to add?
no,
Are, the,
that's
are
all I
you
got.
are you Chiefs going to pick the greatest player ever?
Nah, I see him getting another wide receiver. Hopefully they get Burton.
Yeah.
Who's the-
Well, after the Super Bowl, they need some offensive linemen. You
Yeah,
know. So, but probably what they'll do is see the NFL is a copycat league, is what they refer to it as. So everybody will be trying to beef up their defensive line so they can, put constant pressure on the other team's quarterback, which is actually pretty good to do that because more than likely the opposing team's quarterback is not that good anyway. So, I mean, how many quarterbacks out there can win a Super Bowl? 4, 5?
well, Patrick Mahomes has won what, 4
Yeah.
already?
Yeah, but I'm just talking about how many quarterbacks out there are good enough to win a Super Bowl. I would say 5, and the rest,
Yeah, yeah, I'd say around a handful. And there's a couple that used to be that good, but are a little bit washed up now.
yeah, well, age
As,
catches up to you, especially when you're getting sacked a lot. It sure is. So,
yeah, that's a rough league.
yeah. All right, well, that's all I got for this show. So, you got anything else?
No,
All
no, I'm
right.
gonna get back to watching the draft, I guess. See if I
All right.
see some surprises. See if there's a
Well,
trade.
yeah. So anyway, so tell us how Kansas City does. Remember, watch the whole thing all the way through Sunday. We want to see the 6 rounds. You can report on the 6 rounds next week, okay? All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe the first round. I don't even know if I'll be able to get through that.
Yeah.
They did.
All right.
They,
Do what?
there was 3 offensive linemen chosen the first round or first 10 picks, I believe. Isn't that crazy?
No, because I guess it's a copycat league. So what they do is they see that Kansas City needed help protecting their quarterback. So they, hey, we better get some offensive linemen. Like the 2 most important people on the field are important things on your field are your offensive line and your defensive line. You can win a Super Bowl with a mediocre quarterback if you have a great offensive line and defense. But if you don't have that, you better have a really good quarterback. So
Yeah. Yeah, you
yeah,
got that.
Pat, last year the Chiefs proved that even if you have a great quarterback, it's still tough to win if your offensive line can't protect him. You know. And they lost a few years ago to Tampa Bay for the exact same reason. So, all right, well, that's all I got. So
Yeah,
we're going to
he was
sign
running
off.
around.
He what now?
All right. Oh, I was
All
talking
right.
about Mahomes in that Super Bowl against that whole game.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. All right, we're signing off, folks. So remember to like and subscribe because we need a gazillion dollars so we can go and purchase a team and we're going to build it right. We're going to start with the offensive line because that's the heart of the team. So long, everybody.
So long, everybody.